You're listening to NPR. Good morning, everyone. My name is Claire Snell, and welcome to Bar Talk, where we discuss different issues pertaining to the world of law that affect us each and every day. Today, we're talking about Medicaid fraud. Hold up. Don't fall asleep just yet, because this is a very special episode of Bar Talk, where we'll get to talk about data mining, law enforcement, and the future place of technology in a world where privacy and justice often clash. We'll even get to speak to a real-life investigator. It's a lot of different themes today, Bar Talk listeners, but don't be alarmed. I promise we're going to get through it. We're gonna tie it all together. It's going to make so much sense, and y'all are going to love it. Let's get started. I trust everyone here remembers the Patriot Act. For those of you listeners that don't, that stands for, quote, uniting and strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism act of 2001. Kind of a mouthful. Try to say that 5 times fast. Anyways, the law was supposed to aid law enforcement and military personnel in finding potential threats to national security in the United States. But soon, the focus shifted from terrorism and placed itself on privacy law. How much is the government allowed to quote-unquote spy on us? The National Security Association regularly practiced collecting phone records without need for permission from pretty much anyone that mattered. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC, has criticized the law as being unconstitutional, especially when, quote, the private communications of law-abiding American citizens might be intercepted incidentally. Established in Title II, surveillance procedures are 3 fairly controversial provisions. These include sneak and peek warrants, roving wiretaps, and the ability of the FBI to gain access to documents that reveal the patterns of U.S. citizens. This allowed for the delayed notification of the execution of search warrants. Quote, these sneak peek provisions were struck down by Judge Ann Aiken on September 26, 2007, after a Portland attorney, Brandon Mayfield, was wrongly jailed because of the searches. The court found the searches to violate the provision that prohibits unreasonable searches in the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It's certain that there lies a controversy between domestic and national security and safeguarding of our Fourth Amendment right to privacy. But where is the line drawn? In this podcast, I'm channeling my inner Peter Parker when it comes to data mining.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Are you afraid that I'm going to turn into some kind of criminal?
Well, 2002 Spider-Man, you are a vigilante crime fighter who breaks the law on a daily basis. So, talk about a plot hole. Anyways, with great power comes great responsibility. Data mining can have incredible benefits that we've barely begun to unlock. One example of the potential data mining holds for our society as a whole is the outstanding performance of the Florida Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. Every year, Medicaid fraud costs the federal government over $140 billion in taxpayer losses. That's right, your taxes, $140 billion. But from January 2011 to the present, Attorney General Pam Bondi's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit has gathered more than $700 million in settlements and judgments. That's them getting all that money back. I interviewed a data analyst over there at the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit and asked him about the affordances and constraints of data mining from his perspective. Here's what he said. Quote, data mining provides analysts like me a cross-section comparison for claims data that could previously not be seen. With the ability to compare hundreds of providers to each other, we can understand fraud and account for techniques traditionally not seen. The restraints with this system include the complication of multiple agencies working together to discuss and compromise on strategies and jurisdiction for investigations and other issues. Also, because of the multiple agencies interacting with each other, definitions of claims fields that are implemented differ between each HMO and state agencies. This can create a problem with communication if not accounted for. Understanding what is being asked and how to provide the request, both federally and within Florida, is very important and can be easily missed if not diligent enough. Those are the words of Brian A's, a real-life data miner and investigator. I'll take his word for it. And that's all we have time for today. For a complete works cited list, I invite you to visit my website, hawaiiclaire.wixsite.com/bartalk. and you can check it out to hear all my podcasts on demand. What's the best part about data mining work straight from a data miner himself? Tune in on Thursday to hear part 2 of this data mining discussion. Check me out on Facebook and on Twitter, and share with a friend if you think I'm cool, however unlikely that is. I do want to thank my sponsors, Dunkin' Donuts Coffee, for getting me through this whole ordeal. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. And then, of course, Uber Eats, which I used to order McDonald's dollar menu items from in the middle of the night while compiling this. Uber Eats, the food you love, delivered fast. I'm Claire Snell, and this has been Fart Talk. Thanks for tuning in.